So I had relocated all of the fuses and the relays that were under the hood into the inside of the cab here of this 52 Dodge. And the fuel pump had gone out. I've replaced the fuel pump relay had gone out. I replaced it with another one, and then found out it's actually the coil is open. And it's kind of funny because I had replaced all of these were new relays, but they were from Advance Auto, so maybe the quality is questionable. And I'd even tried switching these two relays, and of course the car wouldn't run because the auto shutdown relay has to be engaged as well as the fuel pump relay for the car to run. So if this relay was bad, it was the coil was open, and so by switching them, it didn't really change anything. The fuel pump would never kick on, and so when I got it back, I realized the coil was open here. I should have switched it with maybe this one, and then I would have had the car running. I just didn't think of it. So I've got my failed fuel pump relay here. I thought I was doing the right thing by replacing all the relays with these aftermarket relays from Advance Auto, but this one only lasted a few years and hardly ever used it, but it failed on me. It became intermittent, and sometimes it would flutter and cause the fuel pump to not pump. And so I want to open it up. I'm curious to see why it failed and what I could do about it maybe. So I've got another similar style relay here, and I notice right away, I just do a quick resistance measurement across the coil here, and I'm getting 681 ohms, which I was expecting more like around 100. And so if I go and look at this one here for comparison, let's see what this one shows. Some of these have diodes on them. You have to be careful about the polarity. 89.8. I'll check and see. This one may not have a diode. Sometimes they use resistors, sometimes diodes. This one must have either nothing or a resistor. But so back on this one, it's failed. It was working sometimes and not others, and so I know I looked at the contacts, and that's not the problem. It was just not engaging. And at 680 ohms, I can see that it must have a bad connection on the coil. So I'm trying to figure out which of these terminals it is. So I'm going to wiggle one and then wiggle the other one. I don't see any difference. I'm next going to go to, I'm going to probe it with a hypodermic needle and see if I can see the continuity change on the coil here. I want to be able to see the coil. So I'm going to probe on this side. And so I'm basically just cutting into the insulation a little bit. So there I'm getting the 600 and some ohms. No, it's 70 ohms. So it's telling me that this coil, this terminal might be okay. I'm going to go about to the same place here. That's interesting. I'm getting 2 ohms. Very strange. Yeah, I'm thinking it must be on this terminal here. There must be a bad connection on this terminal, because when I'm probing it, I'm still getting around 600 and some ohms. But when I drop over to here, I'm getting a very low reading. And I'm guessing that since I'm getting a very low reading, it's like 2 ohms, the outside of the coil must be connected to this terminal, and the inside of the coil must be connected to this terminal. And so how I could fix that, I don't even know. But that's the issue. It's there's a poor connection on this terminal. So I got this relay in a vise. I'm going to try to tap it out so I can figure out what exactly was the failure point. So I'm kind of just gently tapping it out of the case there. And I'm going to be able to take a close look at it. It looks like I see a resistor in there that's broken away. That's the suppressor resistor. I'm also interested to know what that value is. I'm going to check that with an ohm meter. So I was able to put it in a vise and persuade all the terminals to come loose here. Of course, these are the two coil terminals. It appears like they had a solder connection, and this looks like the resistor that was used. Doesn't look like it's soldered very well. I'm going to check it with an ohm meter and see what it reads. That will account for some of the resistance that you read on the coil. And so that's what I'm reading. The 682 ohms I was reading the resistance of the coil of the resistor. So the coil had actually just opened up. So I'm trying to find where the windings are and what might be wrong there. I see one right there. And I see the other winding here. I'm going to attempt to solder this back and maybe make it and restore the connection. So I'm going to attempt to resolder these wires on the coil. I don't know if they were broken or if it's broken inside. I'm just curious to see if I can bring it back. Of course, I would never use it for anything mission critical like an automotive application, but I could use it for something. Still getting in the mega ohms here, reading it, so it doesn't appear that I'm going to be able to bring this back to life. Try one more time. Still getting around 18 mega ohms, so evidently there's an opening in the coil winding. That's about as far as I can get with this. But it is interesting. I learned there's a 680 ohm resistor across the coil, and that's to absorb the reverse voltage that's generated when the coil is de-energized. Sometimes they use a diode, which I think is more effective, but when you use a diode, it polarizes the relay, and you have to be careful how you use it in a circuit. So that's about all I'm going to do with this. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video.